Welcome back to Facing South Florida. We're continuing our discussion here with the two candidates for Senate District 34, Maria Sachs and Senator Ella Bogdanoff. Senator Sachs, I want to continue the conversation. You know, depending on who is elected president, if it's Mitt Romney, if Mitt Romney is elected president, there's a very good chance that Roe versus Wade may be overturned, depending on the Supreme Court nominees, which people I don't think fully understand means that what would really happen is this becomes a state issue. The issue of abortion then becomes a state issue. So I want to talk about that for a little bit. What are your respective positions as it relates to pro-choice, pro-life? I believe you're pro-choice. I believe you're pro-life. You make exceptions in the case of rape, incest, and the life of the mother. Am I correct?
I don't describe myself as pro-life or pro-choice because it comes with a host of expectations. Personally, I could never have an abortion. It just would not be something that I would be comfortable with. But I also believe that I'm kind of probably more libertarian in that area in terms of I think that it is a woman's right to decide what she wants to do. At a certain point, I think a woman loses that right when the child is viable. I mean, there's no question. But I think that this is a political issue that divides. I think that's the political banter back and forth that Roe versus Wade is going to be overturned. I don't think anybody has a desire to do that. I think it's just the political banter that the parties use in order to kind of rev up their base.
This isn't an issue, Jim, that is really libertarian. I mean, it's ridiculous to think that one can be libertarian, Ms. Bogdanoff, when it comes to issues of abortion and choice for women. I trust the women of South Florida. I know the women can make a decision based on what they think is necessary between themselves and their doctors. This is an issue that's not libertarian. You were pro-choice at the very beginning of your career. Now you've switched over because it was politically expedient for you to become pro-life. So pro-life that in fact some of the issues that you face in the House and in the Senate have been against women's rights.
Well, I want to bring you in because I do want to, there were some voting issues that you voted on. 2008, you voted on a bill that defined a person as a fertilized egg. That was House Bill, I think I
don't think so.
No,
I don't know
you did. The Florida Unborn Victims of Violence Act.
Well, basically, that was a product of a situation where a woman was in a car accident, I believe, and the gentleman was drunk, and she was, I think, 7 or 8 months pregnant, and the fetus was killed. And whether or not that child has, they lost the life of the child, not the mother, and whether or not that could be prosecuted.
Do you believe life begins at conception?
I don't really have an opinion on that because I think that's a religious vantage point. I've not really necessarily gotten into the details of that. Bottom line is that with the choice issue, like I said, it is the divisive issue that everybody brings up in campaigns. My opponent misstates my position. I'm so glad that she's kind of studied my entire career. I have not changed my position.
Well,
how you feel personally and what you believe government's
Jen, this is interesting because Ms. Bogdanoff has always supported the teaching of creationism in school.
No, I have not.
She just a minute, Ms. Bogdanoff. She also fact-check Bogdanoff. Just Google Ms. Bogdanoff, and you'll find her exact record. Okay, and I'm so glad we're sitting around a table looking at each other and knowing that everybody's watching because not only have a prayer in school. So when you talk about whether you don't have an opinion as to when life begins, the decisions that you have made that have bound every woman in the state of Florida.
What I do is I look at the policy issue and I determine whether it's good public policy.
Sure, if it's good public policy for you, Ms. Bogdanoff, but how about for the women in the state of Florida?
Sorry, go ahead.
Are you through?
No, I'm not. You go right ahead and answer what Mr.
But I want you also bring in, you have voted for requiring women before they can have an abortion to undergo an ultrasound.
Let me explain that issue, and that's a very critical issue.
Whether it's medically necessary or not?
No, first of all, 95% of women automatically have an ultrasound before they perform an abortion because it's considered good medical practice. The 5% that don't are women who can't afford it.
That's
so a doctor makes
because she never gave any money from the state in order to pay for those. So to misstate your opinion like that is out. It is difficult because your opinions are right there in fact check.
Hold on. Go ahead. I want you to finish on the ultrasound because the bill I saw said that regardless of their ability to pay,
5% of the women who don't have the ultrasound are those that can't afford it. So the doctor makes the decision based on affordability and not on what's in the best interest of the woman. An abortion is an invasive procedure. You should have all diagnostic tools available to you, and a woman should not necessarily have her health compromised because she can't afford it. So So the
make
bottom
sure that
line
the
is-
government takes care of it, Ms. Bogdanoff. Because you know, Jim, it's very interesting. It's easy to talk about giving it to the poor, but if you don't put the money in it, Ms. Bogdanoff, and everybody knows that you were one of the persons in the Senate that stopped the funding. Go right ahead.
Very quickly. Can you just not take car service anymore? Can you just drive yourself to the,
Well, you know,
the airport?
you can see,
Why
right.
not just drive yourself to the airport? Because
You know,
this is the this is
it
an
is,
attack, and
it is.
it does seem to be a waste of taxpayer money.
Isn't it?
Why not just
It
drive
is-
yourself to the airport?
It is so ridiculous. But you can see today, Jim, why Ms. Bogdanoff and the extreme right wing of the Republican Party has to go ahead and throw enough mud. Why? Because she doesn't want to show anybody her record.
Should she just drive herself to the airport?
No, I think what she needs to do is answer for the 84 lost receipts that she submitted
and you know what?
to
That's
the state
another
for
interesting thing
reimbursement because it's an ethics issue.
Because
Right.
Ms. Bogdanoff is taking money from the insurance companies and from tobacco.
All right, we got to
Isn't it
go.
interesting
My
how
producer is
people
yelling
lie?
at me. The nice
appreciate
woman
it.
who was out here before is yelling at me. Later on Facing South Florida, Adam Hasner and Lois Frankel will be here for their one and only televised debate in Dade and Broward counties. Their congressional race is one of the closest and most watched in the country. You won't want to miss it. We'll be right back.